Welcome to Epilogue Podcast, the show where we discuss some stuff that happened on a different show ages ago which nobody really cares about anymore.
Hi, I'm Portponky.
And I'm LeBloc.
Today we are discussing Deep Space Nine, Season 4, Episode 6, Rejoined. Dax falls into a lesbian turmoil when she meets a spouse from her previous host's life. I don't know what exactly the terminology should be there.
That's close enough.
So, what did you think?
This is a great idea for a Dax episode, and they pulled it off really well. I liked it a lot.
You're just saying that because she kissed a lady.
No. Lesbian romances, or actually, I should say lesbian kisses, on television. Well, there was an era where when that happened, it was pretty much exclusively a ratings grab thing. But this episode is so tastefully done. It doesn't feel exploitative. It felt like a real Dax storyline that could only happen with that character. I
will grant you that it was very emotive, and it didn't feel exploitative. Avery Brooks deliberately directed it in a way that wasn't sensationalist. But I don't know that it wasn't a ratings grab.
It wasn't exclusively one. It may have just been that, but they dressed it up really nicely.
Perhaps it was a ratings grab initially, but then they actually did something with it.
They laid the groundwork. They earned that kiss in this episode.
It didn't feel forced. Like, oh, look, lesbian kisses, woo!
This Dax romance episode was so much better than that other one with that guy, for some reason, she was ready to give up her whole life for.
I agree, because I'm struggling to remember. Oh, no, I remember. I can't remember what that episode's called. It'll come to me. It's an early Season 3 one. Brain. Meridian.
Yes, that one.
I looked it up on the wiki. Okay, yeah, contrasting with that episode, yeah, this was so much better.
Yeah, so I had that in mind while watching this. So the bar was so low that this came off as phenomenal.
I don't think it's just that the bar was low. It's not like it was a bit better than Meridian. It trounced that one completely. I'm not saying this is a fantastic episode that will stay with us forever or anything, but it was a good episode, whereas Meridian was not. There was a big gap in quality between those two.
The scenes between Dax and whatever that guy's name was, don't look it up and don't say it.
Oh, God. I have no idea. Ryan Stiles.
Yeah, with Ryan Stiles. There's nothing there. Whereas here, there was so much sexual tension when they would talk. It was palpable. It would hang there, and they sold it so well.
It was hot stuff. It's a very important episode for Star Trek because it's the first time they have directly... Okay, it's not the first time, but it's one of very few instances where they actually bring up LGBT issues. Although, even then, it's barely L. Like, it's the most heterosexual lesbian relationship ever.
Right. It's more about sorting out feelings from the past and meeting a former lover again. But it's complicated because it's Trills and they have past hosts. They're defending the actions of someone they sort of were. And these feelings are erupting that were someone else's. So It's an interesting idea to explore.
If you're going to do a romance, it needs complications. I don't think anyone would particularly like an episode where two people just shacked up.
Hey, I like you. Same. All right. Roll credits.
No, not roll credits. It's 40 minutes of just watching them pound face meat.
Ugh.
That would not be good.
I'm glad they avoided the stereotype where every man wants to see some lesbian action, and Bashir was bored out of his mind while these two ladies were obviously interested in each other.
He's kind of oblivious to things that go on around him, so he may just have not picked up on that.
Also, being a third wheel is awful.
Yeah, Dax completely pushes him around.
He must have been so confused why two ladies weren't talking to him.
I think he'd be used to that.
Aw.
Well, you reap what you sow. So if you're very shallow and creepy...
What did you think coming back to this one?
It's a decent episode. I see now the comparisons to Meridian. It's like a rewrite of that, but a lot better. Although I am somewhat frustrated by this episode because they have a really bad history on Star Trek of blanking out LGBT completely. And this episode could have done something, but kind of doesn't.
It mostly ignores that.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why it's a little frustrating. It doesn't hamper my enjoyment of the episode, I guess, but yeah, they kind of could have done more. We've had so many episodes about sexism or kinds of racism, oppression of various kinds, even ones about disability, all sorts of stuff. Star Trek is a forum for talking about moral issues, but as soon as it's something like homosexuality, they just kind of brush it to the side. So it seems like they felt obligated to put it in at some point, but basically gave it lip service. Like, because they're kissing.
Well, no one objected to the pairing because they're both females. It was all about trill society and cultural expectations. So do you see that as a cop-out? Or where did you want them to go with it?
In the past, they have acknowledged, even on Deep Space Nine, the one Rules of Acquisition. The episode in Season 2 where Pell, the female Ferengi pretending to be male, and Quark are doing the mission, Dax finds out that Pell likes Quark, thinking she is a man, and has no problem with it. So there is a precedent set that they don't really care about people being homosexual. Which makes sense. It's the 24th century. Even nowadays, people give less of a damn about it than they did even 20 years ago. So in 360 years or however long, you would expect that it would be a complete non-issue, more or less.
Isn't that what we see here?
Yes, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying,
okay.
Where are all the gay people? Contrast it to, say, if they were preaching that their society was completely racially harmonious, but there was only white people.
Okay, I see what you're getting at.
It would be like they're saying one thing, but you've got a nagging feeling that outside of the context of the show, the people making it maybe don't really believe that. I will note that Star Trek has always been fantastic for race sort of stuff. The original series had people from all over, often playing people from different races, but they did a good job. And DS9 has a bunch of cool stuff like that. They're good at that. But where are all the gay people?
This show, like anything else, is a product of its time, and I don't think anyone was daring enough to have gay people represented. It was thought of as scandalous. Even it wasn't even that long time ago when this aired, but it's a different landscape now. No one would think twice about including a gay character. It's something that happens in a show.
I suppose I did just say people give less of a damn than they did 20 years ago, and this did air 20 years ago, and they got a lot of complaints about this episode.
That's not surprising.
It says on the wiki they even got one complaint about the episode promoting homosexuality and reincarnation. Which is just... yeah, people like to complain about their opinions.
Just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right.
Yeah, pretty much. I think, I'm sure you've not seen The Wire has some really interesting LGBT characters, and that's got nothing to do with this. Oh no, yeah. So I think your point that more modern stuff has more of an avenue for that is probably correct. I hope they make a new Star Trek series to make everyone on the ship gay, just to balance it out. Okay, not that, but I hope they have a proportional complement of people from all walks of life.
It certainly wouldn't be a hurdle now for modern television.
I don't think they get the level of complaints that this got. Not nowadays. But then again, people always have a way of disappointing you.
It's a cynical outlook.
Just when you think the world's a better place, someone turns around and does something just stupid.
Speaking of being stupid, Quark doesn't understand sleight of hand.
But Dax and Bashir both actually learned those magic tricks, those sleight of hand tricks.
They looked really good.
Yeah, that was them really doing those tricks. They kind of cut them pretty tight, so it actually looks like camera trickery. They shouldn't have. They should have been brave and done longer shots on them, because they did a good job with them.
His outrageous explanations for how Jadzia did the trick reminded me of my terrible plot ideas.
Regurgitate the egg. It's quite disgusting, actually.
Oh, in the beginning of this episode, Sisko suggests that Dax take some time off, and then she says, "Am I that dispensable around here?" And I thought that line had to be a nod to how Dax does nothing in the first season or two.
Or 3. Or 4.
Yeah, well...
I wrote that down as one of my gripes, that Sisko suggests his head science officer take leave during a groundbreaking, important science experiment.
Why would she want to be there?
What does she do on the station? This is the one thing she's had to do since the start of the show. Oh, I guess when they put the relay through the wormhole. That's about the other science experiment they've done. So it's so ridiculous that he said, yeah, just go away, who cares?
While someone creates the first artificial wormhole.
Yeah, let Worf and Eddington handle it. Dax says, I've never let my past lives interfere with my job.
Not true.
It's not even close to true. There's at least 3 major incidents where, 3 episodes where it's directly affected her job.
What are the 3 that you had in mind?
Season 1, Dax, where Curzon has some guy killed, but he didn't because he was boning his missus. Season 2, Blood Oath, where she has to fulfill Curzon's blood oath to do bad things to Klingons, and another one. Oh, season 3, Equilibrium, where she finds out she has a killer, secret hidden killer past host.
I was thinking of the episode when she had a killer take over her commanding officer's consciousness.
Facets, season 3. Yes, that didn't really interfere too much. It just almost got her and or Sisko killed.
A minor hiccup.
But yeah, her past lives constantly interfere with her job. In fact, of all the episodes out of the episodes about Dax, I would say 80% of them, 4 out of 5, probably be more than 5. Yeah, I'd say 3/4 of them have been about her past lives messing up her job.
Well, maybe the Trill word for interfere means something else, like with changelings, harm strictly means murder. So maybe interfere strictly means murder. She's never been murdered because of her past lives.
I've never let my past lives cause me to lose employment.
Yeah.
I would also like to complain about a line that Sisko said. I know how you feel about Lenara.
That was a strange one.
Yeah, does he? That's really unrelatable.
Sisko?
Oh yeah, I can totally conceptualize what it would be like for one of my past lives to meet the future life of my past lives widow, and then fall in re-love with them. Oh yeah, totally. I completely get it.
That's not far removed from the human experience at all.
It just makes me think Sisko was not being very genuine and or doesn't have feelings at all.
He's trying to guess what feelings are.
I know how you feel about Lenora. Oh,
I too have had feelings stir inside of me.
what, like he thinks it's not a big deal? He's comparing it to being really hungry or something.
Sisko says, you came here for advice from a friend, and that's exactly what you're getting. And I thought, well, ostensibly that's what she did, but when someone asks for advice, he or she has already decided what to do and just wants someone else to validate the choice. So, I guess he's right anyway, but she wanted Sisko to say, yes, go for it, do it, just do it.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Yesterday, you said tomorrow. Anyway, that's a minor stupid point.
Sisko was a bit kind of bossy in that scene. I mean, he is her boss, but I don't mean like that. He kind of lacked compassion a little.
He didn't come off as someone who was there for Dax. He was a person annoyed that this other person wasn't acting as he would. Having said that, though, they have an emotional scene where Dax gets choked up and talks about how great Sisko is. And that hit the right notes for me. I like the emotional scenes between Dax and Sisko. We saw one a while back that was inside of a terrible episode. I can't remember now.
Season 3, Episode 8, Meridian.
Anyway, we have a version of that here, but it's in a much better episode.
We've yet to get a real clunker in Season 4, which is good.
I keep waiting for it to happen.
It will happen. But it's on a streak right now. This is probably the best streak of decent episodes the show has had yet.
By far.
Which is because the show is better.
Yes.
They're not just lucky.
Can you guess what quote I chose?
I know which one I would choose, but okay, let's hear what you have.
Everyone's trying to look out for us, protect us from ourselves. But in the end, all that matters is how we feel and what we do about it. because either way, we're the ones who have to live with the consequences.
That is not what I bet on. You actually chose something meaningful and sweet.
Oh, I know what you chose.
I'll go on then.
I don't remember it verbatim, but I'm guessing it's when Worf talked about Klingon dreams.
Yeah, I was creasing it at that bit. That was hilarious.
That was really good.
It is better you do not know.
It is better you do not know.
Hey, that's good.
It was especially good because Kira asks kind of lightly, jokingly, oh, haha, what did Klingons dream about? And then he turns it into something chilling.
It is actually quite upsetting what he says. It's not just like a joke. Things that would keep you up at night. Okay.
Excuse me while I go grab some hors d'oeuvres.
In terms of the quote you actually chose, people should just have relationships based on who they are and stuff, rather than be pushed into it by their families, which is very easy to say because I live in the first world where we don't have like arranged marriages and stuff. So yeah, I've just made it depressing. But it is nice to think that in the future there might be a world where people can just shack up based on people they fancy.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Not have a bunch of societal pressure ruining people's lives.
Running into an old lover is awkward enough. You don't need the added weirdness of cultural taboo.
At least the cultural taboo they added here kind of does make sense. And it reflects on stuff that exists in the current world.
It complements Trill Society well, too, because they have stated the whole point of the symbiont is to gather experiences, accumulate knowledge, and if you are repeating the same romantic relationships, then you're not expanding your horizons. So I could see them saying you should not do that. You are diminishing the whole point of this. So that was good world building right there.
It's my dream that in the future people will be able to kiss in any LGBT way and TV stations will not get complaints.
Yes, but without it having to be HBO.
Yeah.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention the silent goodbye that closes this episode.
Well, if we want to reflect on how we've said show don't tell is really crucial, how bad would this have been? Dax is standing up there. Oh no, I really hope she doesn't leave without saying anything. Or just, I hope she stays.
And then she turns
to the airlock. I thought Dax would be here. Where is she? I can't see her on the ground level. Maybe if I look up at the balconies. There she is. Okay, see you later, Dax. I've got to go.
I'm not staying.
No, don't go. If you go, it'll be bad, like we discussed.
But I have to leave, so I'm leaving.
No, I'm sad.
Credits.
Yeah, that would have been this episode in season 1.
That is depressingly accurate.
Well, thankfully, the show now just stops listening to people pushing it around and does what it wants. I forget what your quote was. I'm trying to paraphrase it in terms of the writers writing the show. Let's watch the next episode then to completely change subject to the end of this.
The writers acted as symbionts in that they had to learn to let go of past lives, past mistakes, as in season 1.
Oh, okay. Like, no, this is over. The end.
Oh, okay. Bye.